Okay, so the big picture for this lesson is fitting linear data using a calculator. And you can use a graphing calculator like this, or you can use Desmos, some type of online calculator. There are links in the course resources page, whatever works for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to use technology to model data. And I'm just using the data that is included in the lesson. In fact, for whatever calculator you're using, you should just go through the steps that are in the lesson. I'm going to run through them here as well, but you want to do these yourself so you can learn the entire process, and that way you'll be much more successful. So the first thing I did is I entered the data. I went to Stat and then Edit, which is option 1, and I entered in the data here. That's from slide number 4 from the lesson. So all that data is in there, L1 and L2, list 1, list 2. Okay, and I'm just going to quit now that that data is entered. Now if you want to view the data on the graph, what you need to do is you need to turn on the stat plot. And if you look, there's a stat plot button right here, so I can go second and then y equals. And then I want to turn plot 1 on. So I'm going to enter on the on. And you can choose the type. We're just doing a scatter plot, so what's there is fine. Notice that there's also bar graph, box, and whisker, but we're just using the first one. So I'm going to quit out of there. Let's go to graph and see what we see. Oh, there's a function in there from before, so I need to go to y equals, clear that out. And notice up here, plot 1 is dark. That means it's on. You can also turn on or off the stat plots here by going up there and hitting enter. Now looking at the graph, I don't see any data points. That means the window needs to be adjusted. So I'm going to go to Window and then adjust the scale on the X and the Y. So the X max, well, let's see, what was the X max? I think it was 100. And then the Y max, I think was, I don't know, what was it? The Y max was, I'm just going to say, I'll put 20. So graph that and let's see what happens. Okay, now you can see all these data points out here. So what we're going to try to do is find the line that best fits this data. So I'm going to quit out of here and I'm going to do a linear regression. So stat and then calc, and I'm going to do linear regression, which is option 4. And then just use the default values. Enter, 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 enter. Okay, so it's y equals ax plus b, just like y equals mx plus b, where a is the slope. So the slope is about 0.21. And the y-intercept is about negative 7.31. There are these numbers, r squared and r. Now r is the correlation coefficient. This tells you how accurate your model is. So the closer to 1, the better your model is. Closer to 0, the further off it is. If you don't see this, you can turn it on by going to Second and then Catalog, and then you have to scroll down to Diagnostics on and then enable that. Again, all this is shown in the lesson. Okay, so now, what if I want to view the line on the graph with the data points? So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to go to y equals, and then I'm going to go to variables, vars, and then I want to choose option 5, statistics. Then I want to choose the equation. And then the regression equation is option 1. See how it puts the regression equation right there for y1, enter, and then graph. So there you can see that regression equation. And it fits the data pretty well. Okay, now this is the steps for the TI-84 and similar calculators. If you're using Desmos, you'll need to do a Google search for the Desmos directions, but they're actually pretty straightforward once you find them. So you're going to be doing linear models and correlation coefficients. And that's the big picture for this lesson.